Welcome back to the show. Today I have two guests. One is a returning guest. I talked to him last October about his work with Ahoy, uh, and he is currently, along with Rachel Smith, running a campaign on Zoop. Paul Cornell is back, and Rachel Smith is joining us also. So let me bring them in, let them introduce themselves, and let's find out about their project. Hey guys, how's it going?
Well, delightful. And thank you very much for having me back. I mean, after last time, I'm surprised that you would allow me over the threshold, frankly, but here we are. Thank you so much.
Uh, you're more than welcome to come back, and I enjoyed chatting to you last time. And last time I was in a hotel room. This time I'm in my own house. So, and welcome, Rachel. First time here. Nice to have you. Um,
Hi, I'm delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
so, Rachel, why don't since Paul's already done this once, and we'll get to him after this, but kind of tell us a bit about yourself, about maybe your history with comics as a reader and as someone who's worked, on them.
Sure. I'm a comic artist and writer. I'm probably most well known for my autobio stuff, which deals with a lot of mental health issues. I've done books such as Wired Up Wrong and quarantine comics that deal with those kind of things. My history as a reader, I've always been a huge fan of other autobio stuff like Emmy Town by Emmy Lennox and American Elf and things like that. I'm also a huge fan of Kate Beaton, Brian Lee O'Malley, which I think you can see a little bit of in my drawings as well. I'm currently doing Nat Comics, which is an autobio comic about my being a new mum. And I've always been quite oversharey about my life in comics. Now I'm making a comic with Paul Cornell, which is amazing. But that about sums me up, I think.
All right, Paul, how about you? I think we covered this, but it's been a couple months and I've forgotten, and I'm sure there's new people watching. So,
well, I should say that comics is the cutest thing on earth.
Thanks, Paul.
The Doctor Who in all its forms, except glove puppets. Comics, Marvel, DC, Saucer Country, I Walk with Monsters, The Modern Frankenstein, This Damn Band. And as a reader, way back to Bronze Age Marvel, and before that, British comedy comics and Donald and Mickey and things like that. And I've sort of done it all.
okay, sounds good. Do you remember maybe the first comic you read, or maybe the one that kind of got you into, the wanting to pick up more, or even writing them eventually?
After you. I'm always a bit funny about answering this question because I think a lot of people have the same answer. But I read Sonic the Comic when I was at school, and I have vivid memories of copying all the drawings on our living room floor, just like trying to draw exactly like it. That was my origin comic, was Sonic the Comic. And I'm since really lucky to be friends with Lou Stringer, who was one of the original artists on it. And I have such fun memories of that comic. Really
nice. I think my very first would have been really children's comics. There were always comics in the house. And I remember two phases that Daddy brought home, both the first Avengers Weekly, with the Avengers issue 4 in the front and Scary Doctor Strange in the back. And he also brought home Warlord and Battle, the DC Thompson and Fleetway war titles when they started up, because they very much reflected his life and experience as a World War II veteran. And so always comics in my house, thank goodness. And
Okay, so kind of let's talk about the who killed Nessie. Kind of give like an overview of the story first, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Well, this is kind of my department. So there's an annual convention of cryptids, of mysterious beasties like yetis and fairies and the Loch Ness Monster and the Kraken. And they come to a particular hotel in the Great Lakes. They need a Great Lake for all the big water beasties. And the staff of the hotel have learnt to clear out. Only they need to leave somebody. So this year they leave Lindsay Grockall, the intern, who's newly arrived. And she has no idea what she's dealing with. But she leaves them to it. And then, however, she's woken in the middle of the night by the Beast of Bodmin Moor, who was a talking cat, who says to her, "I'm sorry, we've had a murder." So she's taken downstairs, and there's a big chalk line around what was the Loch Ness Monster in the middle of the ballroom. And the cryptids don't trust each other to solve this, but they know she's nothing to do with it. So she has to solve the murder of the Loch Ness Monster. I thank you.
Anything to add, Rachel?
One of my favorite things is that the Beast of Bodmin is called Bob. So there's that. And also, I think Lindsay, so he goes to Lindsay and is like, "Look, there's been a murder. We need you to help us." And I think Paul's said before, like, Lindsay wakes up in the middle of the night and she's not even sure what to react to first. This devastating news that the Loch Ness Monster is dead, or the fact that there's a talking cat like in her face at 3 a.m. So, yeah, a good premise.
So,
I think we agree.
Okay, so kind of tell me about the kind of how you guys came up with the project, working together.
Well, we don't know really. Now we have to hash this out. We're going to do this live in front of your audience.
Yeah, why not?
I think we were having a conversation with a lot of our fellow creative folk on Zoom, and I remember the image of the cover just coming into my head. I think I said the title as a joke. And as soon as I mentally saw the cover, I thought, that's Rachel. That's Rachel drawing that cover. But Rachel, what's your memory of it? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure that happened. I think I may have made that up after the fact.
The way I remember it is that we were on a Zoom, just the two of us, but maybe not. But we decided that we wanted to work together on something because we had such fun on Kieran's project. Paul and I worked on 24 panels story together about cricket, one of Paul's favorite things. And we had a lot of fun on that. And we thought, hey, we could maybe do something bigger together. And we just had this Zoom meeting where we were bouncing ideas off of each other. And I'd got really interested in Japanese mythological creatures. And so Paul was like, "Oh, because I really like cryptids. I really like cryptids from all over the world." And we said, "Well, we'd love to do something together about mythological monsters then." And then we started talking about the most famous one, which I think we both agreed was Nessie.
Yes.
And then, Paul, I think this is me coming into parts of this story. I don't remember now. I think Paul said, "I'd really love to do a murder mystery type thing." And I said, "Oh, I've never done anything like that." And I think Paul came up with the title, "Who Killed Nessie?" And we both agreed that would be such a wonderful, a wonderful title. So we went from there. That's how I remember it. But
do you know, that's true. And
we probably did then go to our mutual friends and got excited
said that to them. Yeah, I'm amazed that my brain made up a self-aggrandizing one in which I claim all the IP. Yeah. Well, I've said that in print interviews now. I'll have to keep recanting it wherever I go.
Yeah, well, whatever you need to do, Paul, it's fine. I'll go along with whatever.
So once you guys had the idea, what did the creative process kind of look like between, developing the story and then, working to match the art with it?
I think I hashed out the cover quite quickly after we'd spoken. And then I think we talked about what our favorite kind of cryptids were. I think Paul has a lot more knowledge about cryptids than I do. Paul, why don't you talk about some of your favorites?
Well, the Mongolian deathworm, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? But the skunk ape, the Jersey devil, which is completely anything anybody likes. That's got every characteristic under the sun at any point. Owl man. Oh my goodness, where to begin? The sheer number of alien black cats in Britain. Black Shook. The big black dog, the water horses of the Scottish lakes, Champ from Lake Champlain in the States, the Yowie in the Australian. I could go on. I'm immured in this stuff.
As someone who was born and raised in West Virginia and now lives in New York, I have to mention Mothman because that's
Mothman. Yeah, caused the collapse of that bridge, perhaps. Yes, and certainly changed the life of the writer on site who wrote the book about it, and the origin story of the Men in Black as well. It all tied up with Mothman.
So,
sorry, you were about to do that yourself, weren't you? Sorry, did I just?
No, I know. So once you kind of had the idea and about the book, and how did the creative process continue to work? Did you write stuff and Rachel drew it and then you guys talked about it, and how did that collaboration, I guess, work and develop as the book progressed?
Well, I wrote. Well, basically, when I know who I'm writing for, artist-wise, then I very much change the script to suit the artist. And so, with Rachel's style very much in my head, I started writing pages, and there are some lovely pages on the Zoop site. As we speak, we're still in early bird phase, by the way. You've got another 45 minutes to get the early bird deal on if you Google Zoop and Nessie. And I know that Zoop would want us to say that. But so I wrote some pages with Rachel's art in mind, and she so delivered. There's that lovely page. These pages are all up on the Zoop site. There's that lovely page which is influenced by Asterix. Of sometimes in Asterix you'll get a big battle scene with arrows pointing to where everybody is. I've got I scripted a schematic of the hotel, and Rachel has really gone to town on that. And what I love your fairies. The fairies are fabulous.
Thanks. I just tried to put a link in the chat, but it's not posted. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But yeah.
Yeah, and if I was on my laptop, I would do a screen share, but I'm using my phone, so.
That is fine. If you Google Zoop and Who Killed Nessie, you'll get there. That'll get you to where you need to be. But
I will. When I put this up on our crowdfunding corner on Saturday, I will include some pages in the write up. So
thank you. But if you are listening live, Paul's right. You have 45 minutes to get over there and get a great deal. So yeah, Who Killed Nessie, Zoop. Google it. We'll get you there.
Terms and conditions apply.
Terms and conditions apply.
So, as you were working on the book, was there a certain character that stood out for each of you, or one that you've maybe kind of developed, affinity for along the way?
Well, I'm very much in love with Lindsay, our protagonist. I feel a real kinship with Lindsay. She's just come out of a breakup. She's a lot like I was kind of about 10 years ago. She's finding her place in the world. She's finding it a bit difficult to figure out where she fits in. She's just come out of a breakup. She's yeah, and she's just taken on this new job. She's trying to start again, essentially, and she's very skeptical. The boy she's just broken up with was very whimsical and believed in fairies and stuff, and she was like, "I'm getting out of here." And obviously, she's about to have a very rude awakening. But I feel like Lindsay is kind of all of us in a way. Like we're all kind of, at one point in our lives, we're struggling to figure out how we fit into everything, but yeah, Lindsay's about to figure out how she fits in with lots of things she didn't think were even real. So I really love Lindsay. I know that's probably the most boring answer, the human in the story, but I love her.
Haven't we all at some point in our lives been called upon to solve the murder of the Loch Ness Monster? I mean, metaphorically.
Well, exactly. Tuesdays, am I right? Like.
Oh, and I like Bob. I like Bob, the Beast of Bob Bimbo, because he's got my native accent, my real accent. When I drop this pretense, and I go like that. Well, what you be doing here? I don't know. And if the wind changes, I stick like that. It's the pirate. It's kind of the pirate accent.
I love it.
So, I assume that this is a self-contained story. Is there the possibility for more along the same line if this does well?
I think so. I'd love to work with Rachel at length again, and I think the who killed Nessie too. She's back, but then she got killed again. I think that was
got Nessie again.
Yes.
No cryptid is safe.
No.
The third book can be just stop killing Nessie.
Stop killing her, Paul. Oh my God.
That's a great title. Stop killing Nessie. That's definitely book 3, isn't it?
Definitely. Look, Who Killed Nessie, number 16. Paul, please stop now. Oh my God, she's dead.
Stop beating a dead Nessie.
I mean, it is a grim and gritty book that says things about our world.
Yeah.
What it says is.
Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question, Paul? Because I've not asked you this yet. Like, will I get to draw Nessie, or are you going to kill her before we meet her?
No, you do get to draw Nessie. Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, there's the chalk outline on the cover.
Yeah, so I'm kind of drawing her a little bit, right?
Well, we know what shape she is.
We know what shape she is.
How accurate is that to the real thing?
Very accurate. I went to meet her, and we did Polaroids. Yeah, it's all.
So what is this an all ages book?
Yeah, I mean,
what would you say?
Well, I'd hesitate to describe it as that because that sort of says children's book.
Yeah.
We blank out the swearing with those little. There's a word for them, isn't there? The little symbols that blank out.
Those things, yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, there's.
We blank out any swearing, and there is no violence to speak of apart from an off-screen murder, and there is of course no sex because the only human being for miles is Lindsay, and so I like the idea of anybody being able to read this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as you were writing, as you were drawing, were there any kind of other people that have worked with cryptids that you've kind of pulled aspects from?
I can't really think of any. I have actually done cryptids in comics before for Ahoy's Project Cryptid. I did a Mongolian Death Worm little bit. But no, I mean, the thing is, I've been reading about this stuff under the bedclothes since I was tiny. So I just need to remind myself every now and then, you know. I like the idea that the big hairy beasts stick together, that the Yeti and the Bigfoot and the skunk ape just, hang out.
Yeah, there's like little cliques, aren't there, in the book of different animals, cryptids that hang out with each other. I like that. It's a bit like school.
we will definitely release the Kraken before the end of the. I mean, it would be a shame if the Kraken were not released.
Yeah.
She's kind of Chekhov's Kraken, and I have no idea why all lake beasts have suddenly become she. Why not? Okay.
Yeah.
So before we kind of move on to the next segment, is there anything else you want to mention about the? Oh, I have one. What was the? I mean, I've talked to Jordan, who's the CEO of Zoop, founder, and so what was it about Zoop that made you guys want to bring it to them and not say another platform?
Well, I'd already finished off Saucer Country with them, and that process went really well. And I'd noticed they'd been doing a number of really great projects. And me and Rachel, I think we just thought we could go for this and we could just get it done. And rather than, approaching a traditional publisher with it, we could see if we could do this crowdfunding thing. And so far it's going really well. I mean, as we speak, live listeners, we are 2 days in and 33% funded, which I believe is good going. After the early bird, there will then follow the funding desert, where everybody forgets about it for the majority of the 30 days, and then right at the end, everybody gets reminded again and buys it. And but I believe that's the standard shape. I thought, let's do it. Sorry, Rachel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to go wherever you went, Paul. I've been having a lovely time with Zoop so far. It's been very fun.
Oh, and we've got some lovely stretch goals. We've got postcards from Alison Sampson and Emma Vicelli lined up if we get there. And you want to put some lovely varnish on the cover.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would love those postcards. Like for me. Please fund this. Please fund this project so I can have 2 postcards.
The idea that Alison Sampson is going to draw our cast looking all serious and photorealistic, and then Emma's going to draw them all sexy and romantic. This is going to be really interesting.
Can we make sure she draws them sexy? Can we make them really sexy?
Well, Nessie especially.
Yeah. I love that.
I bet it's also nice that Zoop kind of handles every aspect of the project. So you're not having to deal with printing. You're not having to send books out. You're not having to.
It's really handy having fulfillment right there, as it were. I love the fact it's called fulfillment. I passed in a big building the other day, a room with a sign on the door saying fulfillment room, and I thought it's that easy. But fulfillment is something that Zoop do really well, and it does take a lot of the problems out of it. Now you will be hearing from just over there. My small son, who is 11, the sausage roll song has just been performed, where his mother will sing a song about sausage rolls. He runs upstairs. She cleans his teeth, or I do when it's my turn, and he goes back down. But the sausage roll song has been performed, so all is well with the world at 6:30.
Very nice.
Shall I sing the sausage roll song for you?
Yes,
if
please.
you want.
It's time to form a sausage roll. It's time to form a sausage roll. We have no other goal. It's time to form a sausage roll. It's time to form a sausage roll. Sausage roll.
And what is he doing during this song?
Originally, you see, that we would run upstairs and roll him in a duvet like a sausage. But that original purpose is gone now, and it signals instead tooth cleaning. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. I'm a little punchy after all. Yes,
I love it.
That's okay. Well, let's get a little more punchy and play 5 questions if you guys are up for it.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know what that means, but yes.
I ask you 5 nonsensical questions, and
Okay.
hopefully it might spur some discussion or something. I don't know. All right. Question number 1. Which cryptid do you think you could take?
So there are a Japanese yokai called Tsukumogami, and they are real things that are like a cup, for example, that are 100 years old. And in Japan, when you have a physical thing that's become 100 years old, they get kind of taken over by a spirit and become alive, which is why in Japan a lot of people throw things away when they're 99 years old. But yeah, so I reckon I could take a cup that's 100 years old.
I mean, not a strong young cup, but
no. Well, then it wouldn't be alive if it was like a 1-year-old cup. Although I think I could take that too. But yeah.
I think fairies, basically. Now, the fairies are going to take this as a challenge and spirit me away to their barrow, where I will live 100 years in a day and return looking a little washed out. But but no, I mean, honestly, fairy, that big, come on. Don't take this as a challenge, any fairies listening.
Nice. All right. Question number 2. So you've both have worked on Doctor Who, which is it is a British thing. Which not your favorite Doctor, but which Doctor would you want to be the companion of?
Jodie Whittaker. That's my answer. Yeah, just I love her.
Okay.
I would
Nice.
do anything for her.
I'm just trying to work out who'd try hardest not to get me killed. I think I think I'd like to be John Pertwee's companion, because then I could stay on it. No, that's boring. I Peter Davison's, because he's nice and we could talk about cricket endlessly. The other companions would get very bored.
And do you have a favorite place that you would want the Doctor to take you?
Ooh.
Time, space, whatever, because
my favorite king is, who I've written about a lot and never had anything really published about, is King Edward the Confessor, who I think is a fascinating figure, and I would love to hang out in his court and find out if my fictional versions are anywhere near close to the truth.
Huh. That's a really good answer. I'd just like to go to a beach. Anywhere, anytime, and just do nothing.
You and Jodie Whittaker on a beach, it's possible in the world. I mean, it's.
I know, but that's all I want.
Well, and that's usually when things go really bad, when he tries to take them to the beach.
Yeah. Also, Jodie, if you're listening, let's do it. I'm sure you need a holiday as well. I have met Jodie. She's really nice. She's super nice. Yeah. Sorry. This is just becoming a love letter to Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, let's move on.
All right. Question number 3. I'm going to strand each of you on a desert island, and you can only take 5 things to read with you. I will allow you to take full runs of stuff and like omnibuses.
Oh.
Oh, I needed a lot of time to. No, I need more time.
Current current Wisdons, or if you've got to give me a whole run of Wisdons, Cricket Almanac, the Gerber run of Man Thing, obviously. Claremont X-Men, because there's such a lot of it, and a lot of it is so good. The complete works of the SF novelist Adrian Tchaikovsky, and looks over his shoulder for his favorite book. A Man on the Moon by Andrew Chaikin, which is inspirational and lovely, and my favorite non-fiction book. I need a lorry. I hope I've been stranded with a crate from an aircraft on this.
Yep.
I would need The Secret History by Donna Tartt is my favorite book. Becky Chambers' Wayfarer series. The whole Scott Pilgrim. I think Sex Criminals. That's just had a new trade release. I'd like that very much. And,
I think it's the complete work or the complete thing. Yeah.
And the entire Jeeves and Wooster, please. Thanks. Please and thank you. That'll do me nicely.
Okay, question number 4. I know Paul's worked on a lot of superheroes, but is there, a superhero that the two of you may, would possibly like to collaborate on, or which one would you, it can be a superhero with Marvel, DC, or even a, property,
I would like to see your Batman. I'd like to see your Batman. I think that would.
I'd like to see my Batman. Yeah, that would be different. I would love to write and or draw for Squirrel Girl.
Okay.
That would be amazing for me. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Oh, I mean,
all right.
Okay, go on then.
No, go ahead. No, I interrupted you.
No, not at all. I was having a second thought, but I'd already answered at least twice.
I take second thoughts too. So.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
I'd like to do something classically, some classic comedy like the Bash Street Kids or Minnie the Minx, or you and I could do a Roger the Dodger, couldn't we? That would be great.
That would be amazing. I'd love that.
All right. Question 5. Who are your creative influences? Both writers, artists, like that.
Oh, I feel like I've already talked about some of mine, like Kate Beaton. I think she's amazing. Yeah, and all the people I take to a desert island with me. Yeah. Golly, who else? Paul, you do yours, and if anyone comes to me while you do yours.
Well, both sorts of Christopher Priest. In that I admire the comic writer of that name, and Christopher Priest, the SF author, was my favorite author, and Lauren Bucher's inspiration to us all. Were so many SF writers: Clifford Simak, Werner Vinge. Above all, William Gibson, who I read everything by. I have actually read everything that Rachel has created, even that obscure comic you did for the Wellcome Foundation.
Jack and Lucy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've actually got that. So, yeah, but yeah, so those are kind of my inspirations.
I forgot to think of anyone else because I was too busy listening to Paul. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm a huge fan of Sarah Grayley, her autobio stuff, though. I read everything by her.
Nice. So, as we kind of wrap things up here, how about both of you kind of give a pitch for the book, the campaign, and where people can find more of your stuff or find you on social media.
Well, it's a cozy whodunit, cozy cryptozoological whodunit, murder mystery graphic novel crowdfunder. If that's your thing, and you may have only just discovered that's your thing, because how would you have known otherwise? You could go to Zoop and Nessie, Nessie and ZOOP, and find our wonderful campaign. And Rachel's art is so cute. It'll be a lovely, cute thing that will warm your life, and you can carry along in your pocket. And you can also get some of her original art while you're there. And yes, so that. And you can find me at paulcornell.com, and that will lead you to everything else. Oh, I am the co-host of Hammer House of Podcast with the wonderful Liz Miles.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I've been making comics for a while now, but Who Killed Nessie? It's so fun, and honestly, the pages I've made for it, which you can see on the Zoop site, are I think the best pages I've ever made. I'm so proud of them. So even if you don't want to buy the book or anything, just please go and look at them. Yeah, if you Google Zoop and Nessie, that will get you there. And yeah, it's a really, really fun project. And if you get involved with it now on Zoop, you can feel like you've really been a part of it, which is always nice. So yeah.
Oh, Rachel, how do we find you?
Oh, yeah, my website's down at the moment because it's timing. I have a link tree. If you go to Linktree and search Rachel Smith, you'll find me there. Or if you go to Webtoons and search for Nap Comics, spelled with an X, because I like to be difficult. Yeah, you'll find how I'm dealing with being a new mum. I think I'm dealing with it pretty well. Spoilers, but yeah.
Well, here's just an idea. If that turns out well, maybe you could do a collected edition on Zoop.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Well, I'd buy it
even
to
if that,
my collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if that doesn't happen, I'd love to have both of you back to chat. After if you guys do a second book. But it's always fun chatting with you guys. Paul, good to talk with you again. And we're going to continue to follow Who Killed Nessie on Comic Watch. We do our crowdfunder corner every Saturday, and we highlight projects from Zoop and Kickstarter and backer lists. So, and I'll include this video up there, and people should definitely check it out and check out their other stuff. And thank you guys once again for taking the time out of your day to chat.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be in touch.
Okay.